By the way, you guys are on, you guys are on air. So just so, so just so you know everything you've been talking about, Maurice has leverage now. He can use it. He can use it against you. Everything you're gonna say in the court, so everything you say is gonna be used. Uh, Every, everything you say is gonna be used against you. The
As
courts of law.
millennials, by the way, we even posted things we shouldn't post. The whole album Facebook, because we were posting it ourselves.
And
we didn't have eyes and ears
and
all
then-
over
and
the
then-
place.
and then-
So what I posted, you'd be sure I wanted to post it even when I was high,
And then-
and forgot and delete the whole
But
thing
you know
tomorrow.
what's hilarious, and the one thing I will never forget about Facebook is how many people used to get tagged. Like you'd post a picture and then tag like 300 people. You post a picture and then
By the way, up to now, my Facebook friends are my friends that are dear to me, because you'd think we know ourselves.
yeah. No, but it was like a very interesting experience.
So now people wish me happy birthday on Facebook, and some of them I don't remember, but when I see the name, I'm like, my guy.
Yeah, I remember my
Yeah.
guy. But that was the only way. I feel like, okay, for us, because social media got to us a little bit later than it got to
But have
Jocelyn.
you seen like a post you posted back then and you're like, yo,
What was I
what
thinking?
was I thinking?
For me, the thing was shorthand. It was a shorthand we used to use.
I jumped last night.
That one. That thing that when Facebook used to put what's on your mind, I think I used to take that very literally and just decide to brain dump. I am not very proud of the things that I have on my face. if you check what I have on Facebook from 2014, 2015, I keep telling people that wasn't me, guys. Don't use that against me. I was young and naive.
I'm not sorry.
Yeah.
For me, I'm not sorry.
That's when because I had very strict parents, so I didn't get a phone until much later.
What did you use the school lab for?
The school lab.
Yeah,
Man,
I opened my Facebook account in the school lab. It was a computer lesson.
I was a very good child. Where I went to high school, they were kind of strict on what you would do in the computer lab and what you could not do. And we had this, I'll never forget his stuff. He was called Bulega. Very strict guy like this every time you'd be in the computer lab, because remember it was like a privilege to go to the computer lab, right? So he would make it a point to like move around every computer to see what you were doing. Yeah, that was crazy. Anyway, ladies, it's good to have you here. How are you doing?
It's good to have you, gentlemen.
Yeah, this is an abundance. Hi, Maurice.
Hi, gentlemen. The other one. Hi, Maurice.
Glad you got to the right people. Maurice is blowing kisses. Maurice, don't do that. You forget I'm seated here. It's good to see you. Yeah, it goes. Let it go to you guys. What's up? How are we doing? How are we feeling? We're good? You don't know?
Honestly, I don't know. I woke up to my psoriasis sink.
Yay.
And I'm like, the heck?
Sorry.
It's supposed to be my week. You get it?
Yeah.
It's the month of June, people.
No,
The psoriasis is acting like we're in Jan.
Think about it. Think about it as a very small, tiny setback to a very good month.
I know, but like,
Yeah.
it's too much work for me to. By the way, for my psoriasis to go, it's going to take me a couple of other few months where I'm assuming there's no stress, but goodness, that's not happening.
When you disco, the psoriasis will
And
go.
I am planning to go. Anyone who knows a sort of like spa where I can soak myself in some salt water or something, because I'm done with these things.
Doesn't Urban News do
At
that?
my age, I'm like, oh god, I'm done.
Oh, Al-Nisa. What about Al-Nisa?
They don't.
Oh,
they
they
don't.
don't.
I want like a destination spa. People, we are speaking beyond.
Eh.
Tuve
Okay, Kari. It's Zanzibar. There should be a spa in Zanzibar.
I know there's a Ebola. We can't go anywhere. I'm just going to put sea salt in the tub and soak.
All right, no, but yeah, good to have you guys. I don't know. I've stopped. I've gone swim in the ocean. By the way,
For me,
yeah. Yeah, but a life jacket ogwe mazi ogie. You start
For
doing
me-
those things.
for me, how I am, I've been well, but
That is
the,
good.
the cough.
But
people.
there is something going
There's
around.
that thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, there is
Is this
something
the
going
Ebola
around.
they're talking about?
Ebola, you did.
Because we are not seeing the Ebola, but we are seeing the cough.
It actually could be another strand of COVID, and we just don't know. I actually think COVID just went on mutating. Yeah. I think COVID
mutates, but this cough is kalalamu.
There is someone here who does not want to tell us how she has been. Tell us.
How are you?
How have you been?
Hi. Anyway, I've been fine. Yesterday, I had an amazing day. I had a great prize with a lot of women. Oh my God, there's so many women in the world.
Thank you for representing. Yes. I'm sure you prayed for all of us here.
Yes, and danced for us.
That's good. All right. World Cup has started. Oh, by the way, speaking of the World Cup, shout out to the Bourbon. That was, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know this, and the people who are watching, if you guys did not catch the first game of the World Cup at the Bourbon in Ginger, you were at the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people.
Like, it was it was so fun. I kept asking, why is the match so fast? How is it already 90 minutes?
And I like how right? I saw people, like, I saw you guys, and then
Harriet,
she watched the
like this. I'm like, hey.
I have never, the last football I watched, I don't know how old I was. That was Manchester, like so many, 20 years ago.
You know,
actually more than 20 years ago.
Yeah. You know what's funny is
I've been knowing Loki.
So the way most of us,
but how I watched it,
yeah.
Oh my goodness!
The way most of us had sat, it was in such, you had to turn to see the screen, right? But Harriet was like, yes, yeah, straight view of the screen.
In fact, I was in this.
I kid you know, she sat like a coach. This is how she was the whole game.
And making faces.
And making faces. And in my mind, I'm going, what is she watching? And then the only thing that I had her say at some point was, but South Africa is shit. Well, the hate watching of South Africa. But yeah, the World Cup started. Yeah, so
except Olivia. She even told a small flag.
Someone said, I saw a tweet that said, in the event that we have South Africa versus Morocco, we as Africans are supporting versus. Yeah. No, but that goes to show you, like, people don't forget, right? Africans as a people, even with our differences, if we have an African doing something, chances are the entire continent is going to back you, right? We don't care who you are. We don't care what you're doing. But as Africans, we will back you. When you go to the World Cup, a Ugandan will support whatever African country is there. And so for one nation to get to a point where the entire continent is hate watching you, yeah, that's bad. That's really, really bad.
They forgot the Ubuntu concept.
Yeah.
Because we are the Bantu. Why are they not being with us? The Bantu, like we are together. And man, we helped you. They forgot the Ubuntu
we helped
concept.
You during apartheid. What do you mean now you don't want to? Anyway, well, that's a whole discussion for another day.
So they better shape up, because for so long they've been doing these things over and over again. But I think we're also in an era where a lot of Gen Z influence is going through. Like, you F me up, I F you up, you know? We at some point, brotherhood should not be one-sided. And that's what I'm going to say. I think at some point, people don't want to talk about the hard stuff, no? Yeah? But let's be honest, South Africa has done it for so long. And yet every other country has welcomed the South African, because what? We are Africans, what? We are continent, what? We are brothers, no? So, and sisters. So in the end, if you constantly do some weird shit, I'm sorry.
You can cuss, it's fine.
You know, if you constantly do some weird shit, man, at some point.
Yeah,
at some point we're like, yeah, what's up?
Something has to give. Come, yeah, there's consequences
and
to the
actions. And it's very recent, again.
Yeah.
Like, it's been happening over the years. But I think this recent one, very close to the World Cup, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay, let us see how we get you. But we've also not forgotten Morocco. Loki.
No, we shall not.
Okay, high key.
But ladies, so we've not done introductions. People don't know who we are. No, so I know it's redundant at this point. We'll do it at the end. But speaking of South Africa and Morocco and all that, I have a very interesting word, and I don't know why, but in the last couple of weeks, it has gotten more resonant with me, and there's been a lot of meanings attached to it. And the word is triggers. And that's where the concept of today's topic came from. It initially started with triggers, and I was like, well, I don't want people to talk about triggers. I don't want people to talk about all that. But triggers in relation to peace. And when I posted it in the group, when I told you guys, we're doing the talk track today, and I told you we're talking about peace. No, we're talking about reactions, peace, and bufunda. But we're going to get to the kafunda part. But let's first tackle the concept of peace. I'm going to give a special shout out to our procurement coordinator where I work. I'm not going to say the name of because NDA, but yeah, they know themselves. But he keeps telling me one thing, right? He keeps saying, have peace. You get? And he was like, have peace. In everything that you do, have peace. Right? And I have never taken the opportunity to sit him down and ask him, where does that concept, where does that come from for you? Where does that mindset come from for you? But in everything that he does, I have never seen that guy panicked or in a rush. Like, he's always so calm. He could have a deadline in 2 seconds and he's like, so? Like, he's so peaceful in everything that he does, and he's so calm and he's so collected. And he keeps telling everyone where we work, have peace. Have peace. And it got me thinking, what does it mean to have peace? And the reason why I was very specific when I said reactions, because I feel like a big part, and I'm very curious to hear from you guys after this, but a big part about peace is sort of reliant on reactions. You get your reactions to situations, your reactions to occasions, your reactions to even the consequences of the decisions that you've made, right? So I kind of was in that line, but I'm curious to hear like your take on that. Like, what does it mean to have peace? Does that mean we need to shut ourselves off emotionally? Does that mean we become shells and not react to things? Does that mean we pretend that things don't affect us? Or is it just a way of, is it about finding a way to sort of cleverly navigate the things that we feel are going to take our peace? Please go ahead.
You use the word clever. I was going to say, peace is knowing when to and when not to. You know, because sometimes I'm going to F you up to find peace because you F'd me up. I always tell people, if you come directly at me, whether it's work, whether it's social, whether it's anything, but it's mostly work and social, to be honest. If you directly come at me, then there are times I'm like, I'm wasting my time. You know, like, what the? I am at peace, not even bothering. Yes? There are times I'm like, I think I'll have peace if I,
Yeah.
Because sometimes, and I know myself, I'm a very, person. Like, of course, with growing up, you learn that people are different. So you learn to somewhat, unless you come at me directly. You've seen this. And usually the problem is when I choose to have peace and I say, okay, we're doing this because you've come at me directly, I will actually not mind having detachment for as long as I live. However, when I choose to sort of gradually, look into or withdraw, because all those are forms of having peace. No, I will not be deceived by anyone that having peace is entirely letting things be. Otherwise that's why you'll never try anything, right? Yeah, so sometimes I think for me, peace is finding the when to and when not to. Some of it is not worth it. So that comes down to individually, what is worth it to you, what is not worth it to you. What I find important for me to openly speak out on, you might feel like, no, that's not worth it, or vice versa. You understand? But I think finding peace is knowing that when I go back and sit on my own, it's not weighing heavy on me. So if I choose to not address or confront or approach something, and I go back home and it's weighing down on me, I change my mind. Tomorrow I'm going to do what? Address it. And that's the toughest bit. And sometimes you will address it. And the moment I address it and it still weighs down on me, I've not solved the problem. I don't have peace. So then I decide, okay, I addressed, it did not go quite well, so I'm going to just withdraw. Yeah? And the worst form, you might think the worst form is when we address. Yeah? But the worst form is direct withdrawal without symptoms.
No signs and symptoms.
No signs and symptoms.
Addressing the issue.
That is the worst. And I've done it in my whole life, like I think to 2 people, because I'm very out there. If I've not yet, it's probably a process. But the day, I've experienced, and quite often, I won't even bother to even be courteous. I will just walk and go and come, and as if I've not seen you, you become ghosts for peace's sake. You can also have the right to do it to me if you don't have peace with me. Remember, we all experience people differently. We all experience work life differently. We all experience everything. Let me tell you, even with work, the day I decided I am done, I had overdone the trying and the speaking. Then I said, but what the heck? Will I die? I'm still here. 3 years later. You know? And when you accept that life comes with a lot of challenges sometimes, withdrawing can save you a lot. 2021, there's something that happened. I think we're having a conversation the other day. Someone kept poking me in the morning. Something happened 3 years ago. And I thought that the people I had, the friends I had, because you see, that is when you tell. Are we friends or do we just? Because friendship is tough. It comes with a lot of hard stuff. The good stuff, the bad stuff, the tricky ones. Sometimes you're like, how do I? The other one's like, how, But surprisingly, the next day I had a conversation, maybe 1, 2, or 3 people of those. And then after that, one was reciprocating, except for, people sort of do clicks and going. But the day I stopped explaining, I stopped asking, I stopped seeking for approval, I thought it was going to be bad. I probably felt bad for a bit. And then I realized there was a weight that was lifted off my shoulders. A huge, huge weight that was lifted off my shoulders. The peace I had, I was not willing to try. It's like dating. Sometimes you're like, what was I thinking? Because you allowed yourself to let go. It might be hard. Yeah? It might be hard. You go under the pillows. You come back. But
pillows.
That he was for crying. It wasn't for laughing.
Pillows have suffered.
But trust me.
Yeah.
You reach a point you're like, what was I thinking? Hold up, people. Did I have standards then, right? Well, was I blind? Obviously. He's always blind. But you reach a point, you're like, I'm good. And over time, you learn to deal with those things. Today, I tell you today, you pull that shit that some people pulled on me when I was 20. I sniff it from there. I've gone, you have not heard from me, nothing. You just say, what's up, you're quiet. I be like, I've not seen. I thought we were getting somewhere. Where were we going? So, it depends. Because of now experience. In the past, I just gave it to you as it came. Whether I feel bad after or not, I suffer with it, I own you. But I think as you get older, you choose. I've over-explained, but yeah.
No, but that actually goes into a lot that we wanted to talk about today. Yes, Halima?
I'm just adding on what she said.
Yeah.
There's a book I read, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
What's his name? Mark Manson?
Mark Manson.
That guy. Well, that's a very good book.
Yeah?
That's a very good book.
In that book, I'm just summarizing according to he says peace is you not having problems. You still have the problems, but having peace is choosing where to put your attention and your energy. Is it worth it? Is it worth it to come and address this issue? It's also peace of mind not to address it. So it's, peace is not that you don't have problems. You have the problem, but what am I addressing and how am I addressing it? Yeah.
There is, Morris just said you detach. There is, I like the concept of switch off. There is a concept about there is a concept of picking and choosing, and you guys have really hinted on it, right? I am going to put my energy here. I'm not going to put my energy here.
However, if you come at me
without going through the corners.
If you come at me directly, there's the guy, he experienced me properly.
So in line with picking and choosing, where we put our attention, where we put our energy, where we put our strength, where we decide where we're going to really invest ourselves, right? It is one thing to be able to say, okay, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to do this, right? But before you get to that point, and even while you're at that point, especially now in this day and age, a lot of podcasts you listen to these days, especially about like self-help podcasts, are going to talk about your mobile phone, right? And a lot of them will go how your mobile phone is destroying you and killing our attention span and that. And there is some truth to that. But another thing that is coming up a lot is how much we're being bombarded with information, and not just information, but a lot of other things, right? I think the word trigger has become so popular in the last maybe 4 or 5 years because of how much is being thrown at us in one go, right? It doesn't take much right now for someone to get triggered, right? Before it had to be, you had to go out there, you had to put yourself out there, you had to interact with people to find the things that triggered you and things that sort of distorted and disrupted your peace. Right now, you don't have to leave the comfort of your home. You just look at something on the news and or on Instagram, on TikTok, on X, and your whole mood for the day is ruined, right? You read one tweet and you're like, yeah, fuck this shit. I am not in the mood to people today, right? So we get to the point where we can pick and choose, yes, but how do we deal with all the things that sort of take us off that road of picking and choosing? Because as human beings, whether we want to admit it or not, we are reactionary, right? Some people are just much better at handling those reactions than others. But as human beings, we are reactionary. That's how we survive in life. You can't go through life without having an opinion, without having a reaction to something, right? So as human beings, we are reactionary. So how do we get to a point, or how do we balance picking and choosing with all the things, especially now with the influx of things that we have that are coming at us at a very high speed? Yeah. You are dying, you can speak.
First of all, there's no reaction that is the wrong reaction. I want to repeat this. There's no reaction that is a wrong reaction. You have every right, because remember, it is a reaction. So that means there is an action.
Physics, see? Newton's third law of motion.
So
action and reaction are equal but opposite.
My physics teacher can say me. I'm just using the words. So there's no reaction that is a wrong reaction. I don't give a damn if someone is going to say, oh my goodness, Jocelyn overreacted. No, she reacted. Oh, you underreacted. I would have handled it like this. No, that was the reaction. Because what? You're a freaking human being. Even the animals react. No, like a cat can come for you. No, they are touching the tail. You start telling it you're overreacting. You should have just, I think it's just this. I am tired of the world. And I'm saying this like this. I am tired of the world telling people about how much or how less of the reaction they've got in certain situations. That's their goddamn business. That is them feeling how they're feeling in that reaction. So therefore feeling, and every human being has what? chances are if I underreact, I'm going to blow up someday. In that moment, please react. I know we have the laws and the word and all those things to help us control. True. As long as no one's killing anyone, you know. And let me tell you, people don't kill immediately. They plan. So that is a different story. Other accidents, I don't know if the accident, but it's like, you know, you've heard about things that people have had argument and then they push. No. I'm talking about reaction in a sense of how you respond in that situation or whatever, or, you know, because I want to assume every human being is sane unless you have a certain level of insanity, which is a different story. But let's allow people respond. Let's allow people be. I'm not going to come there. Kia, why did you do like that? You should have fast. Am I the one in Kia's shoes? Right? Am I the one in her shoes? Am I the one in her shoes? Exactly. Yeah. And sometimes you can cry. Sometimes you can. So reaction in a sense of all the emotions we're talking with, whether it's anger, whether it's sadness, whether it's crying, whether it's laughter. Don't tell someone you're over happy. Well, so what? Don't tell someone, why are you sad? So what? You're over crying. So what? It's not you until it is you. It is very easy for us, by the way, to tell people, kale singanze. Oi. You know? Oh, you see, you need to learn to this, you need to learn to that. I've met some weird people who say that shit all the time. You need to learn to this. When it is their turn, oh my goodness. You go together with the movie. You be there saying, why don't you?
What did the direct translation?
So, the only thing we can maybe ask for people, because you see, if we maybe expressed ourselves more, we would not have intense anger.
But
when we tell people they are in extremes, just know that person has blown up. They've been waiting the whole, even just the football game, the wrong team, the team to win. The team has nothing to do with you.
No, the man throws a beer at the screen. Hey, what's up? What
you know?
Man, that guy was offside. Yeah, okay, relax. What is going on at home?
So yeah, I think, of course, I understand the need for control because some things can go wrong. But you first allow people. You if you're around someone, you see them, you see how they do it. But if nothing like too bad has gone up, let's leave people. And everyone, express everyone, because at the end of the day, I have seen what depression does to people. Some of us can kwekaza because we still have social lives there. You call her, let's go out. You know, you may not even talk sometimes, but you know, your friend can tell, okay, this person's going through something. You understand? Or sometimes you don't even say, you show up smiling. Disco, paka morning. But not everyone, but not everyone has the luxury. Maybe some people have prayer. You know? For me, I when the full moon is out and I'm stressed, I'll tell you, man, what's up? You speak to the universe, hug a tree. Where's Olivia?
Hug a tree.
Touch some grass.
Yeah.
But it's not easy all the time. Sometimes you want to punch that tree, not touch it, not hug it. Okay? So let's not be too quick also, not too easy. Reaction is reaction. Because the reaction means I just didn't stand up. I'm reacting to something. And sometimes it depends. We all have different values. It depends on how huge I find it or how simple I find it. The next person will say, that is a big deal for me. That's the deal breaker. So let us stop being shrinks unless someone has come to you for it. Unless you're saying, okay, now it's going to a certain, but also your certain wound is someone else's.
Yeah.
So that's where the challenge comes in. However, let's allow people be.
Yeah.
I am tired of us thinking we have better judgment in situations that we are not experiencing in the moment.
Yeah.
Like that person. I won't come here.
But we're standing ovation. Yes, Jocelyn.
I was going to say, if we go back to the word trigger, is that we don't really know what could trigger someone. because we don't know their past experiences or the traumas they've gone through, or, you know, something that's going to make them react in that way. Because I can tell you, like with me, I don't know why I have this, but there's a small percentage of the world that has it. When people are chewing, I cannot handle. Like, I automatically get angry, and I'm like, yes, that's one. So, and I hate it because I'm like, of course, I don't want to react like I want to smack you, but I hate it. So, it's like there's some things that people have that we don't always see. And so that's why they're reacting in those ways. And so and it's hard to be careful because we never know, you know? And so that's why it's hard to pass judgment on someone. But of course, there is the extremes, like we've seen lately with different stuff going on, that obviously, like if you have any morals, there's no way that you could think the way that people have been thinking in some situations, as everyone knows. So I think it goes back to that. Like, I get what you're saying, like a reaction thing. Like, we need to be very, like, non-judgmental because of the history, but there is that extreme that we also have to, like, be very aware of, and that morally we wouldn't do.
Halima. I'm going to ask them that question after. Let Halima first.
My point is, some things just don't need a reaction. They need a reaction from the people they concern. But then you find people that are not concerned about certain things, reacting even more than the people concerned. And then you wonder, okay, what triggered them? You know? And like, I know the situation you are talking about, and allow me bring it here. Sydney's situation. May his soul rest in peace. There's a lot to it that we are yet to find out, because we are waiting for the trial to go on and stuff. But did they have to react that way? A guy literally was passing with his border, turned and he's like, hey, they're beating someone, let me also go. And like, guys, and what happened to humanity? Wasn't there someone who would come and say, no, this is enough. This is, you know, like, there is no one. Anyway, it's really been something that has triggered so many emotions among us. Everything we've watched off our phones has triggered campaigns, judgment. You know, people are saying different things here. People are saying other things here. Things can trigger, but if things don't concern you, vampi, we'll be like, hey. And if you're really concerned, at least do the right thing. I think the right thing would be someone coming in and saying, no, tumtwale ku police. You get, it didn't have to go that extreme. They judged him. You get, like, but they were triggered because some of them maybe could have been victims of such situations. No, it's both ways, like, but not being concerned. Exactly. That I also said that, like, someone should have stood up and said, no, this is enough. Even the last video, someone was saying, no, kale mumuleka kolechi agende. But some never nangi. We need a lot of sensitization, by the way. A lot of sensitization. People are walking these streets, but people are not talking their head. No, that's the truth.
I mean, it's not funny, but it's also kind of funny. Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, and it's not just Uganda. Like, you see that all over the world.
Yeah.
As I pass on the microphone to Kia. I need to agree. I agree with Justin and Halima. And here's the thing. And like I said, there is, when I say judgment, yeah, we are quick to judge in terms of reaction, yes. But it also works the other way around, okay? Because there are certain points, and that's why I said, unfortunately, yeah, extremes depend on people's experiences, however. You know, that's the thing is, because as human beings, we don't experience life the same, just like our fingers. So unfortunately, extremes are going to be experienced by people differently. But there's certain extremes that are going to be a given. It's going to be obvious. You don't pull a bottle, get a bottle. You don't get a pavement. I don't know, whichever word you want to use in that regard. You don't get a gun. You don't get hot water. Like, there's certain things, really. You don't hit, like, there's a type of hitting where, you know, someone's going to get a concussion. I'm just saying. Yeah?
Well, this is...
Or they're going to lose their wig.
You shoot a cockroach. Why wouldn't you shoot a cockroach?
Also leave our wigs, you guys.
I was in a flying cockroach. A flying one, yes.
No, no.
I mean, no, you papa.
So, Roy is just really pulling our He's just pulling our cockroaches because...
No, you did in the comfort of your house.
In the end,
wow,
there are extremes that humanity is aware of.
Yeah.
You saw we talked about trigger. There are extremes that just your existence as a human, you will identify. Yeah? Let's not use the word trigger. You'll identify. It's like if you see a guy beating a pregnant woman, even if not pregnant woman. You get? I mean, yeah? Your memory what? You know? And that's the thing, as human beings, our bodies do not forget. That is why you'll have anxiety. Exactly, yes? You'll have anxiety over certain things. Like, I'll give an example again. If it's a work environment, you've experienced a toxic one. You're at a new job, you find some toxic people. I promise you, your nervous system is not going to be at ease because memory, DNA, it's part of our DNA. Memory. That's what forms the kind of people we are. That is why the 20 years Rowena is not the 30 years Rowena. You understand? Yeah? And actually, like, for example, the whole of my life, everyone who knew me used to think I don't give a damn about anything around me. I said, I give a damn low-key in my own way. And I have the motto, because that I have been shaped by it. Until you come at me directly, I may look like a coward. Because in my experience, I've lived around people who go around and play games. I know it. But I've also learned to handle that. However, I have learned if you come at me directly, there's a foundation, no? So it's not going to be Rowena this. Because quite often, when growing up, yeah, you guys, polygamous families, when growing up, you have a lot of there's people playing petty games around, but when you respond, you don't really have a basis. It looks like you're the problem. Because there is no foundation, there's no ground, like this, you know? People are smart, even with work. Then I said it is okay. I shall learn to do the same. However, and that is what I've learned over time. As soon as you directly, I'm like, okay, foundation people, foundation, you see that? Okay, I'm coming. As a way of defending myself so that even in funny situations, I don't look like. You understand? And that's just how the world works. You get? So, in the end, triggers are there because of our experiences. We cannot hide from them. We cannot run away from them. That is why there are people who will say relationship would look at me. I don't want. I have seen people who have almost died, lost their backs, children. I don't want. I want my back to work until it can't work. So that comes down to your experiences.
What Rowena is saying is that she wants to twerk until she's 70.
Oh, yes. Oh, goodness. Someone give me a margarita at 70. If I could, I would. So far, I'll be honest with you, the party life hasn't been bad to me. Of course, course, as you get older, you know this is extreme and this is not extreme, no? Even in party, no? Guys, one thing I'll not do is climb a mountain, however. Because what do you mean I'm climbing a mountain? So that I can watch. I don't want.
Okay.
And then Kia gets the microphone.
And then Kia gets the microphone.
And I've said everything. Just ask the next thing.
It's like, what more can I add to this? No, we have spoken about in detail about triggers. I don't know if you guys are fans of podcasts, right? But I'm sure you've listened to a couple of podcasts where people talk about peace, and one step to finding peace is identifying your triggers and then either reacting to them or dealing with them or what, right? But in terms of peace and our triggers, especially in terms of avoidance, right? When we get to a situation where I know that shit is going to fuck with me to a level that I do not really like, right? We've heard of exposure therapy where they say for you to get over a fear, you have to face that fear, right? Like what they used to do with kids. If kids were scared of chickens, then they would throw them into a chicken coop, right? You're like, go there and what? And be there, right? No, but it's like exposure therapy because then you faced your worst fear at that point, right? That's how also they used to teach people how to swim, right? Yeah, people who are afraid of water, swim instructor would just be like, hi, so we're going to jump in 3, 2, we're going to jump in on 3, right? And you're like, yeah, okay, yeah, cool, okay. And then 1, 2, wah! The kid is in the water, right? But it's sort of exposure therapy. Like the best way to get over a fear is to face that fear, right? And they've kind of transferred it into how we deal with the anxiety, how we deal with depression, how we deal the things that trigger us. They're like, okay, identify your trigger and find a way to deal with it. But the best way to identify your trigger sometimes is to put yourself in a position, where muscle memory. The best way to identify your trigger sometimes is to put yourself in that situation where you can be triggered, right? And then see how you can deal with it or see how you react to it, and constantly do that until the reaction is not what it used to be, right? Now, that is some of the prevailing what, but no, let me first ask the question. When we get to identifying our triggers and in finding peace, sometimes the best thing to do is to avoid the trigger, right? Are you really getting over that fear? Are you getting over the anxiety that the trigger causes, or you're simply just delaying the inevitable?
Before Kia, by the time I fear chicken, it must have poked at me. So what am I waiting for? To go back and we try again? You get? If I don't want to jump into the water, I must have drowned in the well, maybe.
And you're still alive.
What, should I go back and try it? I mean, okay, I get you, but also no. It how are you getting me to face my fear?
Yeah.
Don't do a fear factor shit, man. Don't do that.
Throw in a bucket of snakes.
The first time my knee chased me, a turkey, yes. My mom is like, yeah, the one who went there, you run. Up to now, I was even in red, and that's my favorite. I had to choose. I had to give up on one.
Either red or the turkey.
And
we know what one. Yeah, but still.
I was always in red, so I gave up on the turkey, but I'll eat it because there it is not threatening me.
Yeah.
But I see a turkey even when I'm just passing.
Yeah.
I go the other way around. You ask our neighbors. Our neighbors have turkeys, and in the morning at 6 they don't sleep.
Yeah.
7 you hear kuru, 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 kuru.
So, but like
even a cow or bull, I don't want to know which one.
But still in
eating them, it's okay.
In real life, like let's take for instance like relationships, right? I think most people will tell you, oh my God, I was done so dirty, I don't want to do that again. It triggers them, right? But does that mean you're going to avoid relationships for the rest of your life? If, for example, you I say, so the thing is, we identify our triggers, but how do we deal? Do we avoid or do we face them until we are comfortable enough to deal with them?
Kati, now you have answered the question. And before we start, it's June is mental health for men. Because mental health is one of those silent killers. Like you just drop dead. And it shows, it shows some of your reactions. You think you're actually reacting towards what has happened in the moment, but it's something you've carried. You've carried and you've been looking for a victim. Yeah. And that's the thing they say, like, if you don't solve your issues, you're going to end up bleeding when people did not cut you. And that's what avoidance brings. And I like that we have actually seen that people's reactions are caused by so many things. You might think someone is underreacting, but it comes from, maybe they're from an environment where no one ever had them. That's why some people will avoid the problem or not even speak at all, because they've never actually had someone to speak to who can actually listen to them without judging them. So as we and it's so hard not to, not to judge people. It's so easy to pass judgment. You're like, dude, why are you overreacting? But triggers. I don't know if something has ever triggered you and you're literally shaking. And it has nothing to do with you. You've just passed and seen maybe. Let me say, one thing that triggers me is men that grab women without their consent. It triggers me. I'm like, you animal, where did you grow up from? So those things, it's because maybe it might not have even happened to me, but because of the stories I've had from women or even my friends, people I know. So when I see it happening and everyone is so passive about it. And that comes to the thing of keeping peace. You get, keeping peace is important, but keeping peace is, you're choosing peace and you're dealing with that problem. I think choosing peace is not withdrawing, cutting off that thing. It's actually dealing with it. Because if some friend of mine did something to me and I don't communicate and I just cut them off, I'm going to cut you off after communicating, so that you know why. Because it keeps eating you up. It keeps eating you up and you're never going to experience friendships again because of some weird person. I always say there are 7 billion people in the world. There's no way you're meant to be friends with some person who hurts you. So I think it's important not to avoid problems. It's talk about them, not immediately. And that's the thing, we all deal with things differently. So just because you like talking there and then, I like sitting on it and calm down, because I realize that when I talk, when the thing has just happened, I might not communicate what I want to communicate. I have an issue if someone is louder than me, I'm going to just withdraw, and they might think they have won, but no, I've not communicated just because I was overwhelmed. So we deal with our emotions and reactions. They are so different, but it's important for us to also, if we give justify our reactions, it should be easy for us to also extend that grace to the next person, because you don't know what people are dealing with. And I don't like people who withdraw. Please don't withdraw and die in your house alone, and then they be like, he used to hang with those guys. They did not care. Some people care, some don't. So it's draw to those ones who care.
I just want to add a comment on what you just stated. I think it's important in whatever situation we are in to have or to be able to give the other party closure, or yourself. People choose to avoid situations. They're like, Mel just burned the bridge. I'll ghost, and what will they do? Nothing. But you don't know the effect your ghosting has done to the other person and to yourself. You think you're being the bad guy, hard guy. Mel just disappear. Hey. But again, this becomes trauma. Then you start reacting in a certain way. When it's done to you, you're the one panicking. You're the one who wants to go and jump off the bridge. You get. How about the other person? Uganda, by the time you've jumped, they get your body after 2 days. Sister. So I think we need to build the culture of having closure. If me and you have fallen out, I'll take my time, but at least, as she said, I will tell you what's up, and then I'll give you your space.
So we've spoken about that, especially reactions and avoidance in terms of when we're dealing with people. But what about when we're dealing with things, right? Like, I won't go to a certain place because something really terrible happened then. I just can't stand to be in that environment. I mean, I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but you go through something really terrible wearing a particular cloth.
I have many.
And you never want to wear that cloth again because
and
it's just them. Right. And every time you put on that cloth, you have anxiety. Every time you step into that place, you either get angry, you get furious, you get anxious, right? So in terms of keeping your peace, is it okay to exercise avoidance there, or do you have to do the exposure therapy thing again?
First of all, Mr. Moderator, onyingiri demo answer. But also, you're right. Okay, I have personally and these are some of my favorite outfits. You know, that time you're like, yeah. But here's the thing. That means I did not have peace. That means I still do not have peace. You understand? That means I'm not ready to face it. So no, we've not had peace. Choosing to walk away from it is probably an extreme issue that you're like, you know, when something reaches its peak before its peak. It doesn't. So that's why now we still have things like triggers, like you say, trauma. That means I don't have peace. Because I'll still be wearing my dress that I loved so much. You understand?
Yeah.
But, like, that means you didn't find peace. You get? And I know it's easy for us to say we can talk about things or not talk about things. One of the hardest things to do. And especially, I said, it is easy to talk about something if the environment, the people, it's safe. If I'm not to come and talk to you about something and I know if I dare, World War III, I will leave it. Or if I dare, it's going to be misinterpreted, misconstrued, whatever. Because of experiences in all of us, we are like, can't you take it? So then you slowly detach because you're not aware on how you respond every time you're around that workmate, you're around that friend, you're around that man, you're around that woman, that family member. You understand? That business partner, that, you know? So, yeah, you're not at peace. And sometimes I think all of us wish we had peace in every situation, no? Oh, we all know. I know I don't like lies. I don't like half-truths because they're still lies. I don't like white lies because they're still lies. I know I do not like manipulation and games because I know growing up in a very huge family, I've experienced it. So I will see it a mile away. You may not even see it as a big deal, but I will because of my experience. So yeah, I'm not at peace because was I supposed to go to my elders and tell them I'm not at peace? See, some of these situations are difficult. So then, as an adult, you meet a partner or lover or friend or, you know, you understand. You know, your foes, your business, but whatever. But because you've experienced certain things, you can't even see manipulation.
Gaslighting,
yeah. You even see the games. You even see you see it. You see the half-truths, but you're not willing to ask extra questions. And you just walk away from it because you didn't find peace. Hence the triggers. So you rather not continue that. You walk away.
I think
or you react to it in forms and ways that someone has
never experienced. Yeah. And
so, I mean, it's not as easy as we say. We want it that way. We know what we want. We know what we don't want. You know? But sometimes the situation is harder. Like we said, life is not as easy as it sounds.
Yeah.
For me, if you do this, I'm gone. Go. 2 years later, you're still saying, but I told you I don't like.
So, I think for me, one thing, and especially now as human beings that interact with each other, we can't control how certain things make us feel, but as human beings that interact with each other, especially if we consider ourselves close-knit or friends, I think we each have a responsibility. Like, peace is supposed to come from you, right? But if you care about me, if I care about you, if I care about all of you, then I have to play a role in ensuring that you have your peace. Yeah, it's not one-sided. So I have my peace, you have your peace. I need to make sure, it's not my responsibility, but it's just courteous for me to make sure that I put you, or I make sure that you have your peace as well. And I think one of the biggest things for me that I find that we are starting to slowly lose touch of as a society is acknowledgement. Someone comes and tells you, opens up to you about something and how it made them feel. And sometimes, yes, as human beings, hey, I'm going to be like, but no, but... And yes, while it's a very human reaction, and I'm sure all of us here, including me, we're guilty of that. Someone comes and tells you, man, this happened, and you're like, no, it did not happen. It did not happen. It did not. It was not like that. It's not what you saw. That's not what happened. And in that moment, I think, like, protecting each other's peace, I think, is as simple as, even if you know you might be in the right as the person that is being talked to, I think one of the biggest things that brings peace as quickly as possible is just acknowledgement. Hey, I see you. I hear you. I get you. Then you go back to your bathroom and be like, ha, nigga. But in that moment, I think protecting each other's peace, a big part of protecting each other's peace is acknowledgement. Hey, I see you, I hear you, I understand how that made you feel. And if you have to apologize, you apologize, right? Unfortunately, here, you wanted to say something? No, I'm done.
I love being human. We are so... Anyway, I think, as we have said, these things are not easy. Like we say, communication is key, but it's not easy. But I think we should stop treating ourselves like our opinions, what we say is the gospel truth. There are always two sides to every story in these things. Because if you're communicating, the other person should be willing to understand what you're saying and also respond. And if they respond, don't take their side as not being the correct one, because there are always like two sides of the story. And sometimes each side can be right or both of you can be wrong. So like, I don't know. I don't even know how we can do it. But one thing I like, I listen to a lot of podcasts, but there's something that I've realized that it's the same. Everyone is saying it. Right now, we talk about letting go and stuff like that. But as you know, as you grow, sample size reduces. It's so easy to say, oh, I'm not going to hang with these guys. I can make other friends. But that's not the reality. Because right now, at our age, the people you're meeting are business partners. Like, they also already made their friends. So I think we should have that culture of building like real relationships with people you're with. Be dependable. Like, let people depend on you. And be intentional about things. Be able to listen. Forgive. Like, don't be so hard. Like, hard and you do what? You're not going to fight world war. Like, we are here to have a good time.
Okay. Last about being each other's keeper, peace and stuff. We need to learn. One of the basic or most important things is learning and knowing the other people's boundaries. Respecting boundaries contributes to everyone's mental health. You know, Halima doesn't like this. Don't do that. Because then when I check you, then you say, she checks me. You crossed my boundary, you get. So it's very important for us to also be open about what our boundaries are. Because people are not going to just assume what your boundaries are. Yeah, that's it.
And I think...
Rowena, you're closing us out, by the way.
After me, quickly, Justin, quickly.
You have 1 minute, though.
Yeah, so I think, and like I said, it's easy for us to talk about these things, yeah? But remember, we experience each other differently.
Producer said a minute is a lot.
Yeah. Hey, producer, I tell you, I've entered my minute.
Yeah, you were saying.
So, I know we all, by the way, we all want to do better. We all want to be better friends, better spouses, better daughters and brothers.
Just generally better people.
We want to be better people.
Yeah, there is no one who wakes up and says,
though.
I'm going to be shit.
Yeah, here's the drill though. When we point out about triggers, I don't even want to call them triggers. It's experiences. It's what is normal to you. What I see is crossing boundary for you. You're like, oh, this chick is overreacting, man. You get? So at the end of the day, I think what we've learned as human beings, away from peace, and that's why sometimes I say maybe sometimes we shall not find the peace. It's because then you learn to adjust. Okay? You're like, yeah, this I would not take. But at the same time, maybe this person doesn't find this a problem.
Yeah.
And by the time I do that for you, that means I genuinely in it for you.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah?
Yeah,
so
yep.
we need to get back into knowing that, okay, yeah, some of these things are triggers, it's experiences. You can't hide away or run away from it. However, we run to Abufunda, for example.
Ha!
We chill, slowly.
We shall.
Imagine for a person who has been in media for more than 14 years, and a person who has been doing things like film, literature, all that. I still have anxiety. She knows.
Yeah.
I still have anxiety when there's so many people. My legs were shaking the other day from football. There we go.
All right, Jocelyn, you're going to close us out, and I think, Jocelyn, you're going to close us out with one thing. How do we balance our triggers, our reactions, and our search for peace?
That's a hard one. I think we first have to recognize what those are when we have to come to terms with them, because sometimes we don't always know our triggers, and then that's why we react. And it's also about like learning. Like some people have to go through therapy to even learn, or some people have to go through the exposure that you're saying. Like it all just depends on what it is. And I feel like that's different for every person, especially with your brain chemistry and how we all function differently. Because you have your avoidance and you have your anxious like me, and then you have your secure. So yeah, I think it's just really first being able to accept it and not deny yourself that you have them.
She was meant to, at some point, all of us have had someone with or without intention. Okay? Yeah. And then sometimes let us learn. Maurice, if I come to you and I talk to you as Maurice, I have not talked to Uganda. Please understand me as your person. Because we deal with stuff,
NDS.
We choose who to tell which story. I'll tell her the story of that is personal. I'll tell you the story of work. I'll tell the other one the story of family. Let us learn to realize that we all deal with this shit. So let us all respect each other in terms of, because this anxiety we are talking about. Eh? Hey, just, yeah.
Right. Now, unfortunately, like Joshua Baraka says, and now we should make that our theme song, by the way. Every time we're closing the talk track, we should just edit with that. We don't ranch in our. But ladies, thank you so much. I think this has been a really interesting conversation. Maurice agrees. Maurice loves peace, by the way. If you could put down the camera and just come, and he would sit here. Amules. But thank you so much, ladies, for being here with us tonight. As usual, we're Plot 8B. We're at Plot 8B Gabla Road. This is where we normally host the talk track. So shout out to Rowena for giving the Courage Junkies a space to do this and doing something that we all love. Thank you, Maurice, for holding it down as usual. And my name is Roy. I'm not going to go into the AKAs. We'll do that next week when we go back to starting our podcast the way we used to. But it's been a pleasure, ladies, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again next Sunday. But until then, enjoy the World Cup games. Hate watch who you have to hate watch. Be each other's keeper. Let's protect each other. Let's protect each other's peace, and we'll see you all next week on Sunday. Maurice,
at 70,
peace out.
we drink cocktail.
All right. Are we still recording?